Okay, so what if you could actually give an AI a theology exam? No, really. That's exactly what a groundbreaking new study did. They took some of the smartest AI models on the planet and put them to the ultimate test on the Bible. The big question was, can a machine actually, understand faith? Well, let's dive in and see what they found out.
Yeah, it really all boils down to this one huge question. Can a computer truly grasp the concept of God? We're talking about pure logic and code trying to understand the divine. And look, this isn't just some philosophical game. The answer to this has massive implications for how AI is going to be used in churches, in ministries, and honestly by anyone out there looking for spiritual answers. So, to find out, the researchers got really clever. Instead of some big, broad test, they gave these AIs just a single Bible verse to interpret. But, and this is the key, this wasn't just any verse. Oh no. This was basically a theological landmine. It was picked precisely because a simple, service-level reading would get it completely wrong. This was a test of deep understanding, and believe me, the results were, well, they were not what anyone saw coming. And here it is, the verse that changes everything. John 8:58. Before Abraham was, I am. Now, if you know your theology, you know this is monumental. This is the moment where Jesus makes an absolutely staggering claim about who he is. He uses that specific phrase, I am, which is the very name God uses for himself back in the Old Testament. So you see, getting this right isn't about just understanding the words. It's about getting the history, the theology, the whole shebang.
All right, so let's get into it. Why this verse? What makes John 8:58 the perfect, ultimate, final exam for an AI? It's because it's packed with all these different layers of meaning. It's way more than just a sentence. Let's break down exactly what makes this such a tough nut to crack.
So think about it like this. This wasn't just a pop quiz on vocabulary. It was like a four-dimensional chess match. First, the AI had to be a master linguist, digging into the ancient Greek. Then, it had to put on its theologian hat and understand deep concepts like the Trinity and the deity of Christ. On top of that, it had to be a historian and get why this statement was so explosive back in Second Temple Judaism. And as if that wasn't enough, it had to do all of this while sticking to a very specific doctrinal standard. You mess up on even one of those things, you fail. Simple as that.
Okay, so the test is ready. Now, who's taking it? The researchers lined up a really interesting group of AI students, if you will. We've got the big name players you've all heard of, but also some more specialized niche models. Let's meet the contenders. First up, you've got what we'll call the premium champ. Think GPT-5, the one you pay $20 a month for. Then you have the specialized challenger, Faith GPT, which is built specifically for Christian content. And finally, you have the free underdog, a model most people probably haven't even heard of. Now, common sense tells you the expensive one should be the best, right? You get what you pay for. Well, this is where things get really interesting, because the results of this test didn't just challenge that idea, they completely blew it out of the water. This is the first big shock of the study. So that whole idea that more expensive means better, that got thrown right out the window. The free model, the underdog, it didn't just hang with the big money AI. It won. And it wasn't even close. Just look at the grades here. It's incredible. On one side, you've got the premium model, GPT-5. $20 a month gets you a B+. Meh. On the other side, the free model, GLM 4.5-Flash. For $0, it gets a perfect A+. A flawless answer. Come on, that's a knockout. But hold on, the surprises weren't over yet. Remember that specialized Christian AI, Faith GPT? Its whole marketing pitch is that it's designed for Christians and doesn't have an anti-Christian bias. So you'd think it would be a shoo-in for this test, right? Well, let's see how that worked out for them. And boom, here's the second jaw-dropper. Faith GPT, it got a B-. And it wasn't just a bad grade. The study called its answer pastorally problematic. That means it could actually give you bad spiritual advice. And at the same time, a couple of regular non-Christian AIs, they turned in perfect A+ answers. The takeaway here is huge. Just because something has a Christian label on it doesn't mean it's theologically sound.
Okay, so if it's not the price and it's not the branding, what on earth is going on? What was the secret sauce that separated the A+ answers from the failures? Well, the answer is in a piece of the AI puzzle that most of us never even think about.
It all comes down to something called the embedding model. Now, the best way to understand this is to picture the AI having its own personal librarian.
Before the AI even starts to think about an answer, this librarian runs off to the library to grab all the relevant books and articles. And here's the thing. The final answer is only ever as good as the research material that librarian brings back. And this, right here, is the absolute key finding of the whole study. You can have the smartest AI in the world, a real genius. But if you pair it with a bad librarian, an embedding model that pulls junk sources, that genius AI is going to fail miserably. It's the librarian that makes all the difference. Let's look at a real example of a bad answer. This is what you get with a bad librarian. See how it says, through the lens of Trinitarian theology or other interpretive frameworks? That sounds so neutral, but it's a huge theological blunder. It's treating a core belief of Christianity as just one option among many. According to the study's rules, that's a big no-no. And at Earnest AI, a C-.
Okay, now let's see what a good librarian does. Look at the A+ answer. It's direct, it's confident. From a Baptist perspective, this verse affirms the full deity of Christ. See the difference? No waffling, it's precise, it's clear, and it hits the nail on the head. We're talking about the exact same AI model, just with a better librarian. And that's the difference between a failing grade and perfection. So, this is all fascinating tech stuff, right? But what does it actually mean for you? If you're a church leader, a developer, or just someone who uses this tech, why should you care about any of this? Well, first of all, money. We're talking about a potential cost savings of 99.6%. Let that sink in. By switching from an expensive model to a free one that's actually better when set up right, a ministry or organization could save a ton of cash. We're talking thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And second, this study basically hands us the playbook for how to do this right. It shows us that building a good theological AI isn't about buying the most expensive brand. It's about a simple 3-step process. Number 1, choose the right librarian, the right embedding model. Number 2, make sure that librarian only has access to good books. Filter your sources. And number 3, give the AI clear instructions about what you want it to do.
And all of this leaves us with a really deep question to chew on. This study proved that a machine can learn to pass a theology exam with flying colors. It can master the mechanics of doctrine. So, if a computer can articulate faith perfectly, what's left for us? What does it actually mean for a human being to have faith?